The security settings for your board can always be changed after your board's been created, and you'll find the board security under the admin menu and then go to manage board and then click on board security. And then once you're here, there's 4 different sections, and I'm going to go through each one of these sections individually. But the first one is board visibility, which lets you control how your board is discovered. Board access, how people can join your board. Hoot visibility lets you control whether hoots are public or private by default on your board. And the last section lets you set whether you would like to pre-approve comments or hoots prior to them going live on your board. So the first setting available to your board is board visibility, which lets you control whether or not your board is discoverable on HootBoard or other search engines. So right now I have this board hidden from search. So if you wanted your board to be secret, you would check this, but I'm going to uncheck it. And 2 of the ways that your board can be discovered is by searching keywords in the name of your board or by a location. So I'm going to search this location in just a second now that I've changed the setting for my board, and I'm going to go to find or create board, and I'm going to search by that zip code. So if I do that, you'll see that this board shows up in search, as well as if I search by the name of a keyword and the name of the board. The next setting for your board is board access, which lets you control how people can join your board without you having to invite them. So with board access, there's 2 different settings. There is anyone can join your board and post, or only people with access. If it's set to anyone can join and post, that means anybody who clicks on join or follow your board, they'll be able to start posting right away. Most admins usually select only people with access can post, which lets you control before anyone can start posting to your board. You can approve them individually by using request access to post, or you can also set up a password for your board, which would be the community code setting, which prompts them with a box where they can enter community code, and if they have the code, then it'll immediately give them posting access to your board. So to show you what this would look like, if your board was set to only people with access can post, I'm going to go to the same board but as a different user, and now that I'm on this board, I'm going to click on follow, and because it's set to only people with access can post and the community code, once they click on follow, they will have the option to either request access to post, or they can enter the community code to be able to start posting right away. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that community code. Once that's added, I now have posting access to this board. Hoot visibility allows you to make posts on your board private or public. If posts are private, it only will allow members and admins to see the post. And there are 3 different options: public by default, private by default, and restricted private. The first 2 options give you the flexibility of having a default option with the ability to change it to the opposite while you're posting. And restricted private means that posts will always be private on your board unless an admin specifically changes it. So I'm going to set my board to private by default just to show what this would look like when I go to post to Hoot. And if I click on post here, in the section where your board is selected, you'll see that there's a little lock next to it, which means the post is private. But if I wanted to change it to public, I can. And if I went ahead and finished posting this, the Hoot would be public. Pre-approval allows admins to have tighter control on their board, and it allows them to pre-approve hoots and comments on their board before they go live. So on this board I already have both of these checked, so let's see what it would look like. So if I go to see the hoots on the board, I already have 1 hoot on the board pending review by an admin. So it will look like this, where it says approval required, and then an admin can go in and review the hoot, and once they're in there, they can accept it or reject it by clicking accept or reject over here in the Manage Hoot section. As for comments, I'm going to go ahead and click on one of the hoots with a comment on here, and if you scroll down to the comment section down below, you'll see that there's already a live comment, but I also have a second comment on here that is pending review.